RJ, when will the losing stop? This
I,
isn't what I signed up for.
I don't know, Dylan. I'm sorry. I
uh,
don't know, Dylan.
um,
I'm sorry you didn't get to see a win in your couple games here going to the games.
yeah, that's a little disappointing. Um, Obviously, would have loved to see a Kraken home win. At this point, I'll take a win anywhere, whether I'm there or not. I just think that'll be fun to get back to winning at some point. I guess just general thoughts while we wait for people to come onto the stream here and populate chat. I feel like both of these home games have been better than the that Arizona road game or the Vegas game, but they're still just not great. And it's like a total team thing that isn't really working.
Yep.
It's the goalie, it's the defense, it's just a little bit of everything that's been a problem.
Yeah, and that's what's been kind of the most perplexing part of it is that you can't really isolate it anymore. We're talking about the power play, we're talking about, the defense and with this game, not a whole lot of offense generated either. The breakdowns were still there. It's a whole team thing, really, as you mentioned.
Yeah. Alex, welcome to Emerald City Therapy. Yep, we're definitely embracing that at this point.
Hop on the couch.
Yep, Lindsay with the same thing there. Sergeant Pickles, not a super great time. Agree with that. Hunter, Alexiak using the learning moment excuse during the presser. Seriously, did I watch the same game as he did? And that was really interesting when after the last game, they were all like, "Oh, we can't use getting to know each other as an issue." I think it
Yeah,
was
no
Carson's.
excuses.
Yeah,
This needs to get
it
better.
needs to get better. That we're out of excuses as far as us all being new to each other and that kind of stuff. Carson Susi alluded to that after the morning skate this morning about how look, we kind of know what we need to do. We just need to do it. So yes, it was a little surprising for Alexiak to come out with that
Yeah.
well, I guess we just got to learn this and move on. Um,
Yeah, but and also I want to credit Giordano who came on afterward, and he
mhm.
he kind of took a different tone where he just, was saying that, what was it? I'm totally blanking now. I tweeted it out. Um,
Just
oh yeah,
the
you should be. Yeah, there's frustration. You should be frustrated when you're losing games like this,
mhm.
and we certainly feel that. And they're not going to let ourselves off the hook for it. So at least Giordano, I liked, as a leader, as a captain, kind of taking ownership of that.
Yeah. Joshua, they didn't show up to play until the third. Yeah, that was definitely a theme amongst everybody
Yep.
post game, and just that's something that has to change. You saw him; they didn't really show up to play until the second in the last game.
Yep.
Now it's the third, trending in the wrong direction there, guys. Definitely got to do that one. Um, let's see. Lindsay, the defense had some awful decisions tonight and so many turnovers in the neutral zone. Neutral zone play was really rough to watch in this one. It's exceptionally hard when, a big point of emphasis for this team for so long now has been their transition game,
Yep.
getting speed out through the neutral zone, getting it into the other zone. You and I were at morning, skate this morning. They did a lot of drills about getting out of their zone. Not really any about what to do once they were out of the zone, though, and we
Yep.
both maybe questioned that they were maybe repeating some stuff that they've already kind of got down, and that was an issue tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And we kind of talked about that after. This was really your first opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
see the team, kind of practicing. It was a morning skate. It wasn't a full on practice, but it was really your first opportunity to kind of see it all, them working on things. And we definitely had some observations about it, the focus on the transition game, but not a whole lot else. There was a little bit of power play practice, and hey, look, practicing these set of things can help. But yeah, it's, there didn't seem like they really knew what to do once they got the puck in transition.
No, and then zone entries have been an issue for them all along. They eventually did stop with the whole hey, we're gonna just take it in along the boards thing. But on the power play especially, they have a really hard time if the puck gets cleared. They have a really hard time bringing it back, and that's something I'd like to see changed. And when they did work on the power play, they did not work on that at all.
No, they did not.
They worked on starting with the rim around, and that doesn't happen in games. I don't know why they were doing that. Um,
Yeah, it's just situational things that don't really come up. And it was a contrast watching the Wild, even just a little bit we saw in morning skate, where it definitely felt kind of more situational, even though it was like versions of the same drill the Kraken did, but it just felt like more like something you'd see in a game.
Yeah, and they were a little more physical with each other and stuff too.
Hmm.
Like they treated it a little more serious than the Kraken did, and that's something we'll talk about on the podcast coming out Monday. What massively stood out to me is the passing, not just the turnovers, but trying these crazy cross ice passes that are intercepted. That's from Sergeant Pickles. 1,000% agree with you.
Yes. And thank you for bringing up the passing, because that was a topic of conversation between Dylan and I up in the press bridge, talking about how just the passing is, I think, terrible was the word that we used.
Yeah.
They're just throwing the puck into guys' skates,
Mhm.
and even the simplest of passes that, when they do that, it's hard to corral them. Those long cross ice passes that don't really have a chance of working. There was a couple breakouts where they were trying to just throw the puck up the middle and just get a little tip on it somewhere. And I just turned to Dylan like, that's a low percentage play
Yeah.
for a breakout. Yeah, and you saw it like we did.
Yeah, and I don't really understand this whole hey, we can't hit anybody tape to tape because it's I mean, yes, it's not easy, but at the same time, at this level, it shouldn't be hard either.
Right.
And to do it so infrequently the way they do is really something that needs to be addressed. Hey, Brian. And then from Alex, no rebounds on point shots whatsoever. Yeah, not really a ton of point shots to begin with anyway.
Yep.
That's really, if you look at these last four games that they've lost, I think that is a part of the game that is, really disappeared for them.
It has. And it's something that you look at the last time they played Minnesota that was a big reason behind their success. We kind of remember that game as the Hayden Fleury game. And what was the one thing that he was doing over and over again? It was throwing the puck on net from the point, and it had a lot of success. And that helped the Kraken beat the Wild earlier this season. Of course, Fleury not in the lineup tonight. And beyond that, it just looked like the whole team wasn't really throwing pucks from the point.
Yeah, and I mean in general too. Like that's
Yeah.
been an issue. What was it? 3 shots on goal after the first
Yeah, we'll
period.
talk about the reluctance to shoot later, so
Yeah,
particularly with Wenberg. We'll talk
yeah.
about that later.
Brutal. Two bright spots from Lindsay. A power play goal. Wow. And at least they didn't get shut out. That is true. We did see that power play goal. Didn't quite believe it when I saw it.
Yep, yep.
Especially because of how it kind of happened. And I guess we'll go ahead and break this out now. Let me make this easier to see.
That's right. You know what's coming.
We,
Get ready.
we got something for everybody.
We couldn't leave you all hanging.
All right, so let's.
We've got the whiteboard, and it's huge too.
It is very large. So
Right. Yeah, there we go.
yeah,
It's in frame.
trying to
Get the light
the
off, or ring
light
light off of it. Yeah.
All right, so on the power play goal, we saw something that I think both of us and a lot of you guys have been asking for a very, very long time, which was movement on the power play.
Incredible.
Can you believe this? So you had Jordan Eberle collected the puck kind of over here, and he did something incredible. He kind of went over here, and then he went out like this. And as soon as he kind of went away from the net front spot, the defenseman that was right here, tried to follow him. Okay, and this is what I've been saying all along, right? If you get movement, if you start moving around, you're going to get some defensive lapses because guys are going to try to stick to their guy. They're not going to hand off to maybe the forward that's more down here. And so as the defenseman went this way with Eberle sends a cross ice pass all the way across to Wenberg, who's over here playing the half boards. And what that allowed Johansson to do was just kind of slide in from the middle right into the spot that the defenseman left
To go get Eberle.
yeah, to go get Eberle. So Johansson's now here. Wenberg, being the excellent distributor that he is, sees him. Bang, easy goal for Johansson. But it was all because Eberle makes that first step, and he instead of just trying to slam it into Talbot's pads or something, he just took a couple steps up, went towards the face-off dot, and he just drew the forward from here and the defenseman from here, and that opened up the entire play to happen. And this is exactly what we've been talking about.
And something we've seen happen to the Kraken, where maybe a Jeremy Lauzon will be the guy that follows that forward over, and opens up the space. So yeah, that was great to see on the power play. Um, and that backdoor pass is something they've been working on. They just hadn't had the movement prior to it to open it up like they did tonight. But that was a good development for sure. We got in comments. Yes, the whiteboard. Uh, oh hell yeah! Hashtag whiteboard gang. They love the whiteboard, Dylan.
No, had to get it in there for you guys. Sergeant Pickles, there needs to be a legit conversation about hack and the power play setup and pulling goalies insanely early. So we just kind of talked about the power play setup there. Well, we'll go ahead and get to your super chat right now. Sergeant Pickles, love the whiteboard. I think you should do a best and worst plays breakdown each game. I am working towards that. That was kind of like some of the news that we were holding until I get back from being up here. But yes, I am working on doing something where a couple times a week, maybe not just after the Kraken games. We'll do some whiteboard breakdown videos.
Yeah, you guys are gonna love them.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and throw that out there. And thanks as always for the super chat. We really appreciate that. So we talked about the power play setup just now. Pulling the goalie insanely early. What was it? 5 minutes and 20 seconds?
Yep, I saw 5:20. I saw 5:22. I looked up at the clock once I saw him go. It was 5:20.
Mm-hmm. And now you and I maybe aren't totally against doing that in their situation.
Right. And for what it's worth, I mean, here, I'll give you Hackstall's side of the story because, and he wasn't asked about it, he brought it up himself. Mm-hmm. And so he was talking about the momentum in the third period and how he felt that they had built some momentum off the power play goal. They had that second power play. They had some good chances. And he felt like they were putting on a really good push. And before that momentum kind of went away, because he said he kind of sensed it slipping away. Before that happened, he wanted to give them a chance. He knew they hadn't scored even strength 5-on-5. And he's just wanted to give them basically a chance to go attack the game. Here's the quote. My belief is when your team is fighting that hard, we're going to take every opportunity. We're not going to keep it close. We're going to take every opportunity to push and get this thing tied up and push it in overtime. So that's kind of the rationale, is to take advantage of the momentum they had going right then. And as far as the decision, I'm not against it. I mean, there's all the analytics that, that say that pulling your goalie earlier, than you'd think is good, and you don't get burned on it, as often as you would think. But at the end of the day, my reasoning is that basically if you get scored on the empty net, you're done anyway, right? It's game over at any point if you get scored on the empty net. So it doesn't matter when that is. If you feel like there's a moment with good momentum that you can take advantage of, might as well do it. The problem I had with last game, I think the problem that we both had, was the poor execution. You can't do it while you're getting a line change. You have to actually put the sixth skater out there. So I had a problem with the execution, not the decision to pull insanely early. Sorry, anything to add to that, Dylan? That was kind of long-winded.
No, I think you nailed it. Yeah, it's always rough when you're leaving your net empty like that, right? It kind of makes it easy for the other team to score. But at the same time, as you were saying, the game is lost in a sense anyway. The only way you're coming back to win this game is to try to tie it up, and if that is the best avenue of doing that, then I think you have to take that risk. We've seen, I will say though, the only other coach I've seen really do that, like pull them that insanely early.
Patrick Waugh?
I was gonna say Mike Babcock, but
either
way,
one.
maybe not like great
guys you want to emulate.
Guys we want to be bringing up about this, as we just said, we defend this idea. But I just felt like mentioning it anyway. I feel bad for the people that paid money to attend that one. I mean, for what it's worth, everybody seemed to be having a good time until maybe a little late there.
And I did feel a little bad for the crowd because you could tell, like, it was a good, energetic crowd. They wanted something to get excited about. And it's tough even in those games that kind of where the home team doesn't score just for a large part of the game, even if they're still in it and it's contending, it's tough because it kind of saps away the energy. When they did score the first one and they had some energy after like drawing that second penalty, the crowd really came alive. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Alex, giving up the Hattie is embarrassing to say the least. Not just that, I mean, these were his first goals of his career.
Yeah. Does anyone have Rem Pitlick on their fantasy team? Yeah, Rem Pitlick, the first 3 goals of his career coming in that game. And I made this comment to Dylan, during the game. both of the Kraken's games against the Minnesota Wild this season, I think, were the best game of a certain player's career. Certainly for Rem Pitlick tonight, and I think the last Kraken Wild game, it was like the Hayden Fleury game, and I think that might
Hmm.
be the best game of his career.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, congrats to Rem Pitlick. Like that's a moment he's
Yeah.
always going to remember, and just cool for him as a person, as a player.
Yeah. You know, the Kraken did make it a little easy for him though on some of those
Yeah, I
turnovers
mean,
in
it
the neutral
gifted a
zone.
couple breakaways.
Yeah, but you still got to capitalize on that. We've seen the Kraken have issues with that.
Yep.
Not,
Oh yeah,
not to bring up
seriously.
those bad memories
Yeah,
on
let's
top of
let's
everything
move
else.
on.
Sorry. Catching up to Arizona for the number one pick. Yeah,
They're
unfortunately,
Arizona's
it
the only
is.
team below the Kraken right now.
Yeah. Sergeant Pickles still getting annoyed watching all three forwards get sucked into a corner and then no one is there if it comes free. 1,000% agree. That's something that just needs to change. Structurally, we'll see if when that happens though.
Yeah.
Um, Lindsay, I think I heard on the broadcast that they didn't hold practice yesterday and just did soul searching. Is that true? Maybe practice could have helped.
Yeah, there was not a full practice yesterday. It was like the least practicey practice I've seen. There were only 3 guys on the ice. It was an optional skate, only 3 guys on the ice. So, yeah, there was no practice yesterday. I thought that might be okay if they were treating it as like a rest day because, you had 2 games in the 3 days and whatnot. But, yeah, there was not a practice yesterday.
Yeah, I will say, and I mentioned this to you, I think during the second intermission, I think something is going to change coming out of this game. It was clear, and I think this is evident in the pulling the goalie with so much time left, that they are very much aware of the issue. They are feeling the pressure. Giordano mentioned that. I do think something is going to change. Do I think Hacksaw's getting fired tomorrow? Probably not. But I do think something is going to change. I don't know. You and I talked. Maybe they'll make a trade just to
Hmm.
try to shake things up, get everybody focused. Maybe bring in something they feel that they don't have. I don't entirely know what that would be. Or maybe it's just Will Borgen gets to see some time.
Yeah, that would be the easiest, the simplest one.
Yeah, but I don't think that this loss after everything that they've done the last couple is going to be something that they just oh, we lost, we're just moving forward to focus on the next game. I really get the sense that something is going to happen in some capacity. Daniel, I think we just need a new coach. We are not a Kraken, we are a shrimp or just a squid. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
not
we
we're
had
not
Zoidberg at the game these last 2 games. Guy in a Zoidberg suit. Yep,
um
maybe that's more what we're like at this point.
Yeah, we're not quite living up to the Kraken name at the moment, but I'm sure we will at some point. What's up with those line changes? I don't remember this in the beginning of the season. That's from Geo Show. Um, do you mean like the constant shuffling of the lines, or the line like the actual changes themselves?
Yeah, I'll stay on chat if
Yeah, and
there's
then
any.
we'll come back to that one. From Braun, hey boys, hope you're well in life besides just the Kraken. What would be a fair timetable for Hack to bring success? Maybe I'm too forgiving, but is it unreasonable to give him a year to figure it out? Hey Braun, no, I don't think it's totally unreasonable. I sincerely doubt that they would, fire him mid-year.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think that's something that certainly was in the cards
mhm.
from the start of just give a year and see how it works out. And they've definitely stuck with the whole this is an expansion team. We're not going to necessarily do what Vegas has done.
Right. I was just going to say, I mean, throughout the expansion draft process, throughout the coach hiring process, you heard from Ron Francis, you heard from Dave Haxtell, you heard from the ownership group, everybody, hey, look, we've got a short and long term approach. We're not going to sacrifice the long term approach for the short term approach, and I think we took a lot of that as like a okay, they're just trying to keep expectations low kind of thing. But now, in light of everything that has happened, particularly recently, maybe yes, we have to look at that and say, you know, it's they might just be
Yeah,
on to something
yeah,
with they have a long term approach.
yeah. Geo show clarifying the line changes where we ditch offensive possession and just fully retreat to give over the puck.
Yeah, so those that kind of dump and chase thing although you're not even really chasing. That's generally just happens after you've been in your defensive zone for a long time. So you get it to center so you can dump it in without icing it and get everybody off because they've been on the ice for, a minute or so. And they're not really going to be effective anymore in the offensive zone anyway, just because they're going to be so tired. They're going to be
Yeah.
slow.
So it's not pretty, but it's necessary, at the end of a long shift. But of course, a lot tends to result from when you're playing a lot of the shift in your own zone, which is not ideal.
Yeah, it's a symptom, not a cause.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Well said.
I've been told the team has been required to rebrand to the Crack Rim by their new owner, Rem Pitlick.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal, Alex.
Rem Pitlick getting some revenge in favor on behalf of his cousin. I'm told Tyler Pitlick.
Yeah.
Tyler Pitlick, who was of course drafted by the Kraken in the expansion draft and immediately traded the next day for a 4th-round pick.
Yeah. Next up from Lindsay, it sucks that it feels like our season is over. All playoff hopes are dashed, and we're literally 1 month and a day into the season. I will say there was a little bit of a surprising amount of optimism in the media room.
There was.
Yes, the timetable is shrinking, and yes, it's a brutal schedule upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
After the Chicago game and stuff. But at the same time, a lot of reminders, ton of games left. He was saying 67. Is that right?
They played 15, so yeah, 67 games left.
Still 67 games left.
They're 4.5 games out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
67 games to go. You look at that if you're a baseball team or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, well, yeah, they're still quite in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we heard things like, well, the time, isn't running out yet, but it's running out soon. But we're not at the point where it's the end of the line right now.
Yeah. And Braun kind of echoing that. A lot could change in the season. Not saying it will, but if the standings stayed the same from here on out, it wouldn't be sports. Got to stay in it. That is for sure. Yeah. Brian with the super chat. Thanks so much, Brian. Got back from the Canes game in time to see the Kraken's second and third periods. So happy Blackwell had his debut. Thoughts on his play? Well, first, I hope you had a good time at the Hurricanes game. Saw that on Twitter. Yeah, I thought Blackwell played okay. Obviously, he came out of the gates right away with that fantastic first shift from that
scored
line.
Maybe 3 seconds into his debut.
It looked like he might there. But you know what? I saw him less and less as the game went on. And I don't know if that was just my perception or if he was actually playing less and less.
Yeah, I mean, Haxtell did mention that he's going to have some rust to shake off. It might ease him back in. So I think we did see a little bit of that. He ended up with 9:24 of ice time
in the
game, which was the lowest of all Kraken players.
Yeah, not a lot, but I do think what we saw from him is what we were hoping he would bring, which is energy, speed, physicality, a willingness to shoot the puck. I think that's something he learned last year in New York, and it helped him out a lot, and I think that's something he wants to carry over here. I think he opens up certain avenues for Tanev that we saw when they were out there together. It allowed Tanev to play more of his usual style of game where he can, again, be a little more physical, play a lot faster. Blackwell's kind of responsible defensively, so he can maybe pick up slack in certain areas for Tanev to be a little more aggressive. So I like all of those things that he can bring.
And I like the two of them together. And that's something that Blackwell talked about, before the game too. He said, we're just going to run around out there and hopefully I can keep up with him. So
yeah,
I liked that. It was entertaining.
From Jared, is it possible that Vegas's success was the worst thing to happen for the Kraken? I love our team. We've been pretty competitive. I'm just happy we get to watch Seattle hockey. Yeah, I mean, that is the most important thing to remember is a month and a half ago, we didn't have a team.
Yeah,
that's
real. Yeah,
that is something to always keep in mind. Go back 2 years, and this wasn't a certainty it would happen at all.
Right.
So that is important. Yeah, Vegas. We knew that was an extremely high bar to clear going to the Cup final year one. I think we were all just kind of hoping and focused on making the playoffs, and then what happens.
Right.
That obviously is now a little more in doubt than I think any of us thought it would be. But as we were just saying, not quite total dismay time.
Right.
Why was Fleury not in the lineup tonight when he was the difference the first time they played Minnesota? I think it was just because Carson Soucy played such a good game the game before.
Right. And
But
I think
again, there's other people you could take out of the lineup.
there is, yeah, and Hackstall has said that he tends to look at it on a matchup basis.
Hmm.
As for who he puts in of these 7 defensemen, he rotates, and I don't know what better case you can make that this is a good matchup for Hayden Fleury than what he did last time against Minnesota. So yeah, I was a little puzzled by that.
Yeah. From JMG, our team's now taking more advantage of the Kraken's weaknesses since they've seen game tape on them. 100%.
Yep.
I think that's most evident on the power play, especially when they're just trying to set up like certain obvious shots. We're seeing teams, it used to be like, oh, you'd get one or two of those and then the team learns and adjusts. We're seeing teams get into the Kraken's favorite shooting lanes right away. Like
Yeah.
they just don't exist to begin with, because teams just know, hey, they'll only shoot from 2 positions on the power play. We'll just take those 2 away. And so far, the Kraken haven't adjusted to that.
Right. And to the extent that they have, even just the few little plays they've run out, they've had great success because the other team is, kind of committing to what they know the Kraken will do. So if you just throw something different at them, it goes a long way.
Yeah. So that's something that needs to be a little regular. But yes, I mean, all 32 teams have video coaches and they do study this stuff and they learn tendencies, and that is definitely something that happens. Sergeant Pickles, they run out of ideas offensively off the rush, doesn't work, and once they chip it into the corner, when they do manage a cycle, they telegraph the trigger man so badly. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about that. That is a big problem, especially on the power play. They do have issues coming in off the rush. Like, I think guys, you see it pretty consistently. The puck carrier carries it in the offensive zone, and then he just kind of looks around. Like, he doesn't know where people are going to be. He doesn't know if they're on a line change. Like,
Yeah.
we see that a lot, and they just kind of die in the high slot there.
Yep.
And I don't, other than really, drilling it into people's heads. Okay, if the guy comes in the middle, I need at least one other guy to be wherever, so that guy has a play to make. Because instead, what's happening is they're just dying in that high slot, and the defense just collapses in on them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, that's what's going on.
Yeah. Is it too early to call for Hackstall to be fired? I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that, just because of the rough stretch and maybe the disappointment considering certain expectations. But I wouldn't count on it. And like we were saying earlier, I think the plan is for him to be around for longer than just a year.
Yeah.
Who else did you guys root for before the Kraken arrived? I was a Penguins fan. You were a Sharks fan.
Yep. There it is.
We've got a whole video about that we did back in like April. If you
that was a long time ago. That's probably pretty sloppy. I don't know. I haven't looked back at it, but some of the early stuff's a little rougher around the edges.
Yeah. Referencing my whiteboard drawing, looks like a bicycle with a basket. Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah.
I made it real quick with rain still on my glasses, so thanks for being gentle. Braun, to be honest, I totally agree, Lindsay. I'm just saying that there's still reason to watch. Yeah, so about staying optimistic. Let's see. Hashtag Free Will Borgen, for sure.
Got to get that one going. I know the Buffalo media will help us out. Like the Buffalo people, fans media have like kind of picked up the stuff when I talk about Will Borgen. They still love him there.
Yeah, another positive night. Colin Blackwell for sure. Let's see. Hashtag crack is whack except for hack. Hashtag what's Lauzon pine pony in French. Oh, getting creative.
Oh man, yes. The
I
hashtags.
like the creativity. I do. Didn't get to watch the game tonight. How'd the boys do overall? That's from Jay Gar. I mean, it was the first 2 periods were very, very rough, and then unfortunately they were in a hole that they just couldn't quite dig themselves out of at the end there.
Yep. Yeah. They brought in a good push, but just couldn't do enough.
Braun with the super chat. Thanks so much for that. How many good NHL teams win without a star? Looking for like a percentage. I mean, a decent amount certainly can get to the playoffs. Part of that's just due to the fact that half the teams get to the playoffs. But I guess it also depends on what you would consider a star player.
Right.
If you look at like the last couple Stanley Cup winners, obviously the Lightning have a lot of star players.
Yeah.
So you've got a star goalie, a star defenseman, and some star level forwards. Trying to think of some of the past Stanley Cup winners before that. You have teams like the Capitals, obviously. Penguins won those back-to-back ones a while back.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
it
the
is.
Blues might be the team that I would say
Yeah,
probably
they.
had the least of a star. Ryan O'Reilly was playing like a star, and of course Binnington. Goaltending is so huge.
Yeah,
I mean, if you can
certain.
get a goalie that gets hot, and then you don't need the star.
Which
But which
they're not.
Grubauer
I was
can
gonna say
be.
they're not playing like it, but the Kraken have two guys that theoretically can do that.
Yeah.
So important to remember that these guys, they have been good.
Right.
Generally, goalies don't just get bad and then stay bad forever after that. Even Binnington, he was
Yeah.
bad after that cup run. Played a lot of hockey. That's something we're used to seeing from goalies. But he's been playing really well this year.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I just think as far as super, star, it helps. It does help a lot, but generally also a deep team can kind of compensate for that just with the kind of unrelenting pressure they can put on. It's just right now the Kraken aren't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Weirdly, I thought it was a better effort overall than the last couple. I do too.
Yeah.
I felt like it was, through a lot of the first period, except for a couple plays, I thought they were right in there with the Wild, and
Yep.
it was a good game. It was fast moving. Kind of really moved along at a clip, and I think that was because they were just right in there, and they were just playing, hockey, and it was
Yeah.
back and forth.
And it was against a good team too.
Yeah, and it was tight. It was good. The line changes.
Oh, that was
we had that one. Let's get down here. But shouldn't they just go to the bench instead of chasing the puck just to back off? Yeah, part of that's you gotta.
You need at least one guy to stay and
Yeah.
just have the threat of someone there, so they can't bring it right back up the ice really quick and get back into the zone. You need at least one guy to cut off passing lanes.
Mm-hmm. Jagar, who's a player we could get that you think would change the Kraken for the better? It is so hard because of their depth, as we've said many times. We've kind of asked about
You
this.
kind of need a high end guy. I mean, just bringing in another depth guy doesn't really make much of a dent. You need, someone who's just a top six forward, really, and someone who can score.
Right. And I was going to say, I just want someone who's going to shoot the puck and shoot
Yes.
the puck from any angle and is just going to kind of have that shooter mentality. So, if that's somebody like a Phil Kessel or I'm struggling to think of other guys that might be on the market besides him that kind of fill that. I'm sure there are.
I know you
some.
like Line, but he's
I know,
expensive.
so that would be an expensive get, but I think that's what they need is they need someone who can bring that attitude of, hey, we're not going to score unless we shoot, which, we said we were going to bring up Wenberg. Now is probably a good time. Wenberg, please shoot the puck more. You had a great goal tonight because you have a good shot.
Yeah, what a shot. But, when you're receiving the puck on a 2-on-1, the pass has already been made. It's not like you're coming in trying to make the pass. You receive the puck. The goalie's not quite in position yet. I mean, you have to shoot that puck. He's got to shoot it. There's no two ways about it. He just has to shoot.
Yeah, and it's beyond just that one play. I mean, it's almost every time he gets himself into a decent, place, and then he'll just pass it.
Yeah, we wouldn't sound this exasperated if this was a first-time thing.
Yeah, I mean, it happened multiple times tonight, multiple times in that Ducks game. We've seen it really all season long from him. He's really fast, good in transition. He can pick, the puck off in the neutral zone, move in with somebody 2-on-1, and then he will just always pass it. And again, you talk about stuff that you don't necessarily want on tape because teams will learn about that. That is one of those things they will notice. If they think you're afraid to shoot the puck, they're going to try to take advantage of that. If the Blues can go from last in the standings to win a Stanley Cup, the Kraken have a shot at the playoffs after 1 month. I 100%.
Yeah, and for those who might not have been following that as closely, like in the 2018-19 season, the St. Louis Blues were in last place in the entire NHL in January.
Mm-hmm.
Not we're in November right now. In January, last place, and they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. And and it wasn't like they even squeaked into the playoffs. They were one of the top teams in the division too. So it can happen. I mean, that was obviously not a usual case, but it shows you're certainly not out of it in November by any stretch, even if you're last place in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Brian hit it out. See ya, Brian. Ruben came in. Hey, Ruben. Also, I just realized that both my teams had power play goals today. Yay. What's your other team, Alex?
Yeah.
Let us know. Looks like we're battling you guys for the basement of the division. That's from Canuck for life.
Yeah, rough
Yeah,
game for the Canucks tonight.
Canucks have been struggling just kind of as much as the Kraken right now.
Yeah,
Both teams in a little bit of a free fall in the standings. The Sharks are kind of hopping in on that too in the
yep,
division.
they're cooling back
Some of
down.
these teams are who we thought they were, others not, I guess. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's just going to create a tighter playoff race towards the end of the season there.
Yep, for sure.
You mentioned that Thanksgiving is going to be a good barometer of how we will be. Who do you think will have most points, most goals by then? That's from Jared. Well, I'll say Eberle with most goals
Yeah, most
because
goals. Yeah, because I mean, I think Thanksgiving. That's
it's not
four games. That's
yeah,
four more
4 games from
games,
now.
so it probably won't change a whole lot. As far as the Kraken leaders. I mean, I'm looking at the
I
points
was gonna
leaders:
say I'll say
Eberle,
Eberle
Schwartz,
for
McCann,
that, but I'll
Wennberg.
go with McCann for points.
Yeah, McCann. I think will now that he's healthy, will kind of
Hmm.
gain back goals. Eberle. Yeah, I don't think Tanev or McCann's going to catch him. Yeah.
Yeah. Lindsay asking, what goalies would you like to see for the Tampa Florida back-to-back games? I think it'd be nice to see Drieger against his old team. I like that, but also at the same time, his old team probably got the book on him,
Yeah, and that's
so
I
it's
know
a
you
little
asked me
rough.
that question earlier. Like, is it a bigger advantage for a
Hmm.
goalie who kind of has the book on the skaters,
Yeah.
or the skaters who have the book on the goalie? And I tend to think it's a bigger advantage for the skaters.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't mind giving Grubauer the Florida game as much as it would be cool to see Drieger play against Florida.
Yeah. Hunter, that Arizona game killed this team mentally. I do think that they didn't learn the lessons that were there to be
Yeah, and we were
learned from
talking
it.
about the lessons that needed to be learned, and yeah, I don't think they really sunk
You
in.
know, playing to the whistle, so to speak, playing till the end of the period, all that kind of stuff, not resting on your laurels, not taking anything for granted at any point in a game,
Mm-hmm.
um, or just games in general. I don't know that those were the takeaways by the team that maybe they should have been. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that has also contributed to that here. Cameron, despite the 2 losses, did you enjoy your time at Climate Pledge and have a blast? I did. It's a beautiful, beautiful arena. I love everything about it, really. I love the Twins. I think that's a really unique thing, being able to watch one side of the ice and then instantly just look up from there instead of having to kind of track back over. I know that seems like, oh, I hate having to,
Move
slightly
my
move my
neck.
neck, but it is just like a nice convenience thing there. I love the windows on either side. I think it'd be really fun to watch like an afternoon game or
Oh
something when
yeah,
it's a little lighter outside.
yeah. Give us a matinee.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really cool with those windows, let in some natural light. The energy in the building's really, really good. Obviously, the fans are passionate about the team, and that comes across. So, yeah, I definitely encourage people, if you can, uh, to go see a game.
Yep. Oh, look at that. Great
Yep.
to see you guys on the press
Autumn.
bridge from section 203.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for taking that video,
Yep.
giving us some video proof that, yes, in fact, I did give Dylan the press pass. He was there with me. It was not me in a
Yep.
wig. It was
Yes.
not me in a wig.
As was
As was
speculated on
speculated
Twitter.
on Twitter,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, thanks again for that video.
Definitely.
Like, big old smile, like when I saw, I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, Dylan, check this out.
Yeah.
Way to find us. Like, that's not easy. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
How'd you know Dylan was going to wear this, like, shirt that
I
was
know
easy to
those
find?
nice and easy spots. Well, I guess I always wear bright colors.
That
So
is true.
that
That is true.
is
That's
that
how
is
you
something.
find him.
And the Grews are definitely starting to transition to booze. Um, yeah, I mean, to be fair, not as many boos as I maybe thought there would be, like when the team left the ice at the end of the game and stuff. I
Yeah.
do think that's encouraging
Yep.
as far as general fan response to things. How would you grade Grubauer tonight? Drieger needs to play more than one game in a row. I do agree that I want to see Drieger more than what we have been. I
Yep.
think I think if he is to get hot, it's probably going to be because he's playing
Playing.
fairly
Yeah.
regularly. And at this point, I think you need to try that just because you need to try something. But how would you grade Grubauer?
I'd give him. If you do like a school grade, a B or B plus tonight, because the breakaways you can't fault him for. You just can't. It's a breakaway that's so tough to defend. And then on that 2-on-1, maybe you wouldn't like it to squeak by him, but it's tough when you get a centering pass like that. And even then, even if you do fault, it's one goal. Like the team should be able to score two or whatever to make up for it. So yeah, I think he was fine tonight.
Yeah, and I do think that yeah, we didn't see any of the really soft goals that we've maybe seen from him in the past.
Yeah.
And like none of these were those.
No, it's certainly not. He cleaned that up.
Yeah, and then do you think it would help if they gave Drieger more games?
Yes.
100%. How about a Mike Hoffman? I love Mike Hoffman. I have for a really long time. He's been one of my guys. I do think that is exactly the style of player that this team could use. Don't necessarily need him in the top 6, but I think just having a player like that in the locker room, around the team, at practices where they're just going to shoot the puck, I definitely would be interested in somebody like him. Where is he this year?
Is he Montreal?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And, depending, they're not doing great, so it is possible he would be on the market. So a nice pull, Alex.
That was a good thought, Alex. That's exactly what we were going for.
There's this guy named Alex from Washington that could help us, or another named Nathan in Colorado. Maybe Edmonton has some young guys we could go after. I like the optimism, Braun, but as you put underneath that, JK, yeah. Some guys are just pass first guys. Wenberg.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I've had Blue Jackets fans. I've had Florida Panthers fans like responding on Twitter to my tweet about Wenberg needing to shoot. They're like, yeah, that's who he is. Have fun with that.
Jagar.
Hey, cool.
I know. I might go to my first hockey game in person soon. Yeah,
that'll be great. Tell where, when.
Yeah,
give us the details.
Let us know what team. Is it here in Seattle? Let us know.
It's a fantastic experience. You are going to love it.
Yeah. Lindsay, I want the Kraken to have the offensive firepower to be able to come back from 2-goal deficits. It feels like they just can't outscore opponents or shut the door. Yeah, we knew scoring was going to be an issue, right? And scoring from behind, in that sense, is never easy for any team. It's just an issue.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that being said, in that Ducks game, they at least managed to do that semi.
Yeah, they did. They did. They certainly felt like they had the firepower in that game.
Yeah. From Braun, my girlfriend, somewhat jokingly but mostly seriously, hates Wenberg because from second game he was whiffing passing on big opportunities. Yeah, I mean,
he can be a frustrating player to watch.
It's been a problem for sure for a while now. I'll go with Wenberg for most points if he stays healthy. Playmaking center.
He is up
possible. There. Yeah. Don't forget to hit the like, everybody. Thanks, Aaron, for looking out for us and for the kind words there. And then let's see. Jared, in the third, it looks like the cameras were shaking from the crowd. Was it that loud? It does get very loud.
Yeah,
in that arena, and things do shake, as we know from that press bridge.
Oh yeah, you can feel it there. Yeah.
So it definitely gets moving.
Even when things aren't, I don't know. It seems like there's no real rhyme or reason to it too. It just sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
when it's loud for sure, but then other times it'll be just intermission.
Oh, yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Well, during the intermissions, they'll do fun stuff with the crowd that gets them all going.
That is true.
Or just blare that PA system. It is a loud PA system. I do enjoy that.
What was the thing pregame that we liked that was way more fun than we thought it would be? Oh, the don't blink cam.
Yeah,
they had a camera where, explain.
They have a camera that is, the Kraken dare you to something. And last game it was fist bump.
The person next to you. You just
literally no one did. Everyone would just wave to the camera. No one did it. Today it was don't blink, and there were some really great people.
Oh yeah, they kept it going for a while, and just the expressions too. They do, or they make it look like they're about to, and then they didn't, and you get the crowd cheering.
The crowd really, really got into some of those people, and that was a lot of fun. Speaking of the crowd, Hunter, I heard there were fire hacksaw chants in the crowd. Was that true? I
did not hear any. For what I say, I did not hear any.
Yeah, so maybe some guy in the back.
Yeah, maybe
had one too many and was trying to get that going, but we didn't
notice it.
Who wins between the rivals? The Seattle and Canucks both kind of falling in the thing. Yeah. Let's see here. Is the red glare thing catching on during the national anthem? Unfortunately not.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, it's certainly not.
So that's a little rough.
There's a little bit of the fight from the Everett people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd definitely say that's got a better chance of sticking around right now. Let's see. Some talk about the Canucks there. Having a bad coach. I got to stand up for my boy Travis Green. He's not a bad coach.
He's a good coach.
Let's see. I'd like Seattle to do well. It's good for the new fan base. It's about darn time Seattle got a team. That is for sure. Thanks for that from our neighbor from the north. Alex was not a fan of whatever McCann was doing as the last man back on that first breakaway. Let Hartman skate right into him. He's not used to doing that.
No, he's not used to, and also, and I was talking to you about this. We weren't sure because we had to go watch it. Like, yes, he was the last man back, but like, should he have been?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
he's a forward at the end of the day, and he was the last man back by about
Mhm.
5 feet. I want to go back and just get a freeze frame. Like, where were the defensemen?
Mhm.
Like, I just want to know where they were on the ice, because yeah, something felt off. It felt like everyone, all five skaters. I tweeted
Mhm.
actually all five forwards. All five skaters were just pushing forward, and I don't know why that was the case.
Yeah. And also a reminder to plug the merch.
Okay,
Yes.
so plug the merch. I'm gonna show
Mhm.
another picture that's probably gonna come up poor quality here, but um, it was a cool day merch wise because our Geeky Squad shirt made its way to Craig Geeky, who is Morgan Geeky's father, and he tweeted, gearing up. Let's see, can I see it? Here, let's see, gearing up for Seattle Kraken game tonight with my new tee. Thanks to Emerald City Hockey for hooking me up. And there he is. There is Craig Geeky, Morgan's dad, rocking the Geeky Squad shirt. If he's on board, you should be on board.
Yeah.
Let's
So
get those Geeky Squad shirts going.
yeah, so that was really fun to see this morning. Some more talk about the Canucks. Love the city of Seattle. Yeah, it is a great city. I do appreciate all the rain that I've got to experience so
Oh
far
yeah,
since I've been up here.
he's got thrown right into the thick of that.
More rain than I've seen in a really long time
Yeah.
in Southern California. Quite the drought down there. Jagar, I'm going to watch the Hurricanes versus Ducks at Anaheim. Then on December 1st, Knights versus Ducks game. All right, Anaheim.
Awesome.
Love going to Ducks games.
It's an awesome arena. And
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorites that I've been to, and it's just got this really cool, like a small arena feel, but it's just like the sight lines are great. It's just, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Dylan, you could explain better than I can, but
Yeah,
yeah, we do love Honda Center.
yeah, I love going to Ducks games for the atmosphere. It's a very relaxed atmosphere. I know some people don't appreciate that about it. They want like Vegas where everything's a
Hmm.
show and it's all gigantic. But Anaheim, it always feels like you're like everybody's sitting on one big couch watching the game together. You know what I mean? It's a little more relaxed in that way. But I really appreciate that because you can just kind of go unwind and have fun watching a hockey game and. And everybody's super super nice there. Uh, Wherever you're sitting, everybody's super nice. So, if you let them know it's your first time there, they're going to take good care of you,
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
appreciate that. From Aaron, one positive: we're getting healthy. Only up from here. That is true. Everybody
Yeah,
is
Appleton's the only guy
back.
left.
Yeah. So, just got tickets to. Reading ID just got tickets to their first game,
Kraken at
Kraken at
Sharks.
Sharks. You want to
Yep,
talk briefly about that?
I've been to 60 odd games at SAP Center.
Mm-hmm.
It's another good rink. It's got a little different feel than Honda Center, but yeah, it's a good rink. And again, the sight lines, the seats are really good too. It's going to be a fun game, especially since that might be the first Kraken Sharks matchup of a potential division rivalry as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah. Lindsay bringing up Geo jumping up too far on that one. Yet he brought that up himself
He
also.
did, and he owned that. He
Yeah.
took responsibility for that, and especially in that time of the game, he said, "I can't be making
Mm-hmm.
those mistakes." So,
Yeah.
captain taking accountability. I always do like to see that.
Yeah. Braun, this is totally unrelated. You don't have to answer, but what do you guys enjoy outside of hockey? Dylan likes movies, I think. Pretty cool that you're both able to do what y'all do. Hashtag I'm not jealous. Yeah, I was a screenwriting major in college, so definitely movies are something, that I enjoy a lot.
Yeah, I enjoy. I mean, travel. I'm very lucky. My family's got to travel a lot. And history. I watch a lot of history documentaries. Big fan of. Like hardcore history. If any of you listen to that podcast, so big history fan as well.
Yeah. We'll talk more about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
At other times. Just trying to catch up here. Will the Kraken win another game this month? I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be probably pretty historic if they didn't.
Yeah, they've got 7 left this month, so I think they'll win another game.
Cameron agreeing if Winberg shot on that 2-on-1, he possibly would have scored, and then the power play goal 3-2 would have been a game changer, but didn't happen sadly. Yeah. They will beat Chicago on Wednesday. I'm manifesting it from Lindsay. I do think that is a really good rebound opportunity. Giordano talking about the best way to break out of something like this is to just get a win, however you get it. If that means beating up on a bad Blackhawks team,
so be it.
Do it. And even if it's a tight win, one goal win, whatever it is,
just get the 2 points out of that game, and I think it can all turn around from there.
Yeah, hockey is streaky. Every team, everywhere. So if you just kind of end this streak and start another one, hopefully you that momentum swing will come to pass. Are you guys getting recognized at the games? We were in Vegas, actually.
Yeah, we were in Vegas, and then for the first few, because I just kind of walked around the outside of the arena. We go straight, like for these last two, we've gone straight up to the press box. But the few times I've kind of walked around the arena, I have been, and then certainly at like some of the practices too at the Iceplex, which is really cool. Like if any of you ever see me or Dylan like in person, come up, say hi. We'd love to meet the viewers and all that. So
yeah. Hockey question: why do some centers get booted from the face-off when it looks like both are getting after it? You want to explain that one?
Yeah.
As the person who takes face-offs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of at the ref's discretion also, but generally someone will kind of encroach on the dot. You're supposed to have your sticks, on either side of the face-off dot and not encroach into it before the puck goes. Sometimes you'll have a guy that swipes the puck before it can, hit the ground, and so it's basically at the ref's discretion of like, are you leaning in? Your skates are also supposed to be on those hash marks as well. If your skates kind of move in too soon, they could kick you out for that. But yeah, it can be kind of controversial as far as, you'll see centers complaining after getting kicked out. So yeah, there's a few different things they look for.
And while extremely infrequent, we did see it in that Vegas game, which I was shocked to see. If the first center gets tossed and the next person comes in and they also get tossed, that is a penalty on that team.
Yes, it is.
Very rare to see that penalty. I was like I said, I was very shocked to see that in that Vegas game.
Yes, and usually, although I think that one might have been for face-off violation, hitting with the glove, if I remember correctly. But which is a whole other conversation. Yeah. But yes, and which is why most of the time, if a center gets kicked from the face-off, the player who comes in to replace him will basically treat the face-off as a lost cause and just not make a huge effort to win it because they do not want to get kicked out and take a penalty.
Yeah. Which arenas have you all been to? Well, we've definitely all been to all three California ones because grew up all over California, both of us. So Sharks, Ducks, Kings for sure. As for going to an actual game, it's really only been those and Seattle for me.
For me, as far as going to an actual game, it's been Seattle and then Madison Square Garden. I went to a Rangers game, Rangers-Penguins game a while ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yep.
Otherwise, we've been to Florida together for a draft.
Yep.
And then
I've been to Vancouver as well a couple times and took a tour of their arena, but it was during the off season.
Right, and then I've been to the Rock in New Jersey for a draft.
Yeah, for a draft.
So, kind of different though for the drafts. It's hard to get a feel for a lot of stuff in those situations. Gio is a beauty. He is. Can't underestimate Chicago though, because we lost to the Coyotes. Yes,
that's true. Yeah, don't go into it thinking, we got this, but
we're gonna lose. It's all terrible.
Yeah,
Chicago,
no chance.
They won all those Stanley Cups or whatever. We're gonna lose. All right, there. Hopefully that reversed the mojo. Geeky has been playing terrible lately. He hasn't been playing terrible, but yes, he is not as noticeable as he was before. He's still trying to take a lot of shots, but they're really forced shots.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those where I like, the shooting mentality, but sometimes it's just really not, in opportune times. And he hasn't been getting those looks on the power play as much recently, just because one, they haven't been getting as many power plays, and two, it just hasn't been funneling that way.
Yeah. Feel a win streak coming. Hope so, Cameron. Fingers crossed on that one. Lindsay, I've only been to 2 NHL arenas, Canucks and Climate Pledge Arena, but I've been to a lot of college. Saw Jake Gensel play college. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Creative Moxie reminding us that we were just in Vegas for a game. Thanks for that one. It's definitely not almost 11:30.
Yeah, I know. That's what we are. I think we are tired. we literally just went to Vegas. Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. But that is cool, Lindsay. I love, yeah, any form of hockey is all great. Let's see. Like what I saw from Blackwell tonight, thoughts on his debut. We talked earlier about it, but, liked the energy he brings, liked some of the stuff he does. Think he opens up the game for Tanev a little bit. He's pretty responsible defensively,
Yep.
and I think he's going to do a lot for this team once he's fully healthy and once he plays his full share because didn't play a ton tonight. Let's see. So y'all grew up in California. If so, how'd you become Seattle fans? You want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of us did, kind of following the team through its creation and whatnot. It's something a lot of us were like focused on as just, a cool part of the league, and also deciding that we wanted to cover the team was, a big part of it too. And, that we really wanted to be all in for this kind of, for the team to start really.
Yeah, it's a kind of a unique experience. I have a little bit more connection to Seattle and Seattle sports. My grandparents have lived in Gig Harbor, Washington for a really, really long time now, almost all my life. And every summer we'd come up here for July. And so I grew up going to Mariners games or Tacoma Rainiers games with my grandma who loves baseball. So I've always had a kind of a soft spot for Seattle sports in general. So that also helped jump on board for me. Alex, CPA will forever mean certified public accountant.
I still see that.
Yeah. Only NHL game I've been to is a Gretzky Kings game back in the late '80s.
Ooh,
That's
that
pretty
must have been
fun though.
Yeah,
JMG.
in the early awesome. Gretzky days, then yeah.
Yeah, my parents went to a lot of those in SoCal, and they have a lot of great stories about those. So I hope you do too. Canuck for life, taking off. Pop in another time. Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate the perspective from the rival from the north. It's great to have that.
I love the Yanni Gourde Tanev pairing. What are your favorite lines? What is the line I'm thinking of?
The one you want to see, or
well,
the one,
no, okay. I know there's the one I want to see that we'll never see. That is geeky Johansson Donskoy, just because I want that.
Mm-hmm.
No, but what was the line during the Ducks game? Who played with Wenberg in the Ducks game? Because I liked that.
Oh, was it?
It was Johansson and someone. Why am I spacing on that?
Was it?
It's not Yarncrow because he plays with Gourde.
Donskoy.
It was one of them.
Okay.
I think. I don't entirely remember.
Man, you could tell.
But I know, but I really like that line.
Yeah.
You can check out the line section on the website. There's a tab that has all of the lines from all the games. But yeah, and I see some people going to bed up here. Jagar, what's your favorite jersey of all time? That is something we are saving for a podcast, and so we will talk about that.
Because there's a lot of discussion to have on that, a lot of candidates.
Became a Kraken fan because I'm new to hockey and they just joined the league, so it seemed kind of perfect. Exactly, that's a great reason timing.
Perfect timing.
To do one. Lindsay's taken off.
See
you Wednesday for Kraken Win. Speaking it into existence. Keep doing that, Lindsay.
Manifest it.
Let's see. Happy to have you all. Hopefully you can see our Mariners in the playoffs in your lifetime. Happy to have you guys. That's from Cameron. Yeah, I hope so too. Let's see. Any plans for an ECH road trip at any point?
No concrete plans, but there's, especially like the Southern California road trip that they have, I would like to do. So look for that one.
Yeah. Creative Moxie, see ya. And yes, we are getting tired.
Yes.
Real idea. I think that line was Yarncroke and Johansson. Yeah, but did they split up Yarncroke from Gourde? That's what I'm struggling with. Because I don't remember the last time I saw that happen.
Right.
But it might have been. I mean, that was my first
Well, no, they started with the Swedish House. But then they switched it, so I don't remember.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it worked well. I like Johansson's creativity. I like Wenberg's distribution. And I like Donskoy's creativity. And I feel like there's something there to be worked out.
Yeah.
If given the freedom to do so. But I don't know if that'll happen at any point. Braun, appreciating everything. Thanks as always. Yeah, for sure. And reading ID, maybe I'm thinking of Vegas. It's possible.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's super late right now. I think we're going to go ahead and end things here. We're just about hit the hour mark.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Again, with the media stuff taking a little bit longer, being a little bit longer after the game, we weren't quite sure what to expect. But as always, you guys delivered. You showed up,
Yeah.
and kept this awesome community going for post game, and we just love to see that, each and every time. So thank you all so much for joining us.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hovering kind of between 35 and 40 people this whole time, and with the late start, how late it is now,
After
and
another loss,
another
yeah.
loss. I mean, I think that speaks a lot to all of you guys. So, thanks for all the support as always, and we will see you guys after that Chicago game.
Chicago win.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, not a Chicago win.
I mean, oh my god.
Get out,
All right,
Go to
Archie,
bed. Go to bed, Archie.
Good night.
You need
Good
it.
night, everyone.